what I'm hearing from Homeland and what I'm hearing from FBI is we don't see a threat here. And look, honestly, every video I've seen, and I've spent the last couple days looking at every one of these videos, every video I have seen on Twitter, on the internet, are all airplanes. They're literally all airplanes. Some of them will show an airplane that's kind of stable out there and says that's a drone, and actually it's an airplane flying towards you at 30,000 feet, and I can see the lighting on it.
Yes, former Republican Adam Kinzinger on CNN saying, all you idiots, all you morons in New Jersey, what do you know about airplanes? In New York, you don't know nothing about no stinking airplanes. They're just airplanes. You're too dumb to know an airplane flying by at night in the sky. Not like you're surrounded by airports or anything like that. They just don't know. He turned Democrat. That guy, not a good person. I don't know if our Congress historically has been better than our modern Congress, but I'd like to think that over time our Congress was a lot better than it is today. Happy Monday and welcome. Who was at the Army-Navy game on Saturday? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. I saw you there. I did run into nice people there, nice listeners to the Humble Radio broadcast and viewers of the Newsmax show. Very nice people. First person I ran into in line at security, going through the magnetometers and getting the probe and all that stuff. Ran into a nice guy, Naval Academy grad from Rhode Island. And we talked about the nice lady that called in from Rhode Island last week. Very nice, great people. What an amazing game. My best girl and I were there for the big Army-Navy football game. It was played here at Redskin Stadium. Is that what it's called now, Michael? Is it Redskin Stadium? I think it's called Redskin Stadium, isn't it? Actually, they call it Northwest Field because it's east of Washington, D.C., and that's the thing about that. But we had a wonderful time, not because of the stadium or the parking or anything like that, because none of that was very good. And then there were the $21 beers. Those were delicious. But that aside, the game was wonderful. The crowd was wonderful. It was great stuff. We saw Cobble Kirby. Cobble Kirby was there. He was hiding out in the Army, the U.S. Army's warming facility. They have a warm because it was kind of nippy. Can you say nippy when you're talking about the Naval Academy and the Army playing each other? I'm not sure what the rules are on that anymore. But Tora. The game was pretty amazing. It's better if you're a Navy fan, and I lean Navy. It's hard to walk away disappointed if you are neither Army nor Navy. It's hard to walk away disappointed from the Army-Navy game because one of the teams wins, either West Point or the United States Naval Academy, the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, or the U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis. And it was a cool game and a great game, and the play was wonderful. I got it having the midshipmen over there and the West Point cadets over here singing songs and doing great stuff. And I turned to my best girl at one point while they were singing. What they were singing? What were they saying? Oh yeah, born and raised in South Detroit, just a city boy going anywhere. And the crowd, the cadets and the mids singing along. They had the lyrics up on the big screen, and it was quite amazing. And I said, my best girl, this is why everyone in the world wants to be American, except for Democrats. And I did say, except for Democrats, because Democrats are the only group of people on the planet Earth that don't want to be America or more like America or in America. Only the Democrats. They're the left. Just amazing. Speaking of the left, do you see Michael Moore, also known as Mr. Creosote? Did you see Mr. Creosote? He is the aromatic Michael Moore. He posted online, "More murder for him, please." Does Michael Moore want civil war? Hey, that rhymes. I could do a rap. I could do a rap of some kind. But these people are out of their minds, And I want to get into that because they're calling for more bloodshed, more savagery. They're the left. They're not liberals. You may have noticed also that President Trump, the Army-Navy game, President Trump was at the Army-Navy game. He was actually there only for the first half of the game. And he left my best girl and I, we were walking around. at halftime went out to the outer edge of the stadium, and we saw President's motorcade coming up and assembling and stuff. But President Trump was there, and he brought a bunch of friends with him, pro-American people, and they're on our side. The Democrats not on our side. But at the Army-Navy game, President Trump was there, and he had his vice president-elect with him, J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance was with him. And he had also Elon Musk, the wealthiest man in the world, and an amazing guy. I saw his mother, Elon Musk's mother. He's got a mother, and she was being interviewed live on TV over the weekend, and I watched her, and she's pretty remarkable, too. A model, so a long-time model and all that good stuff, and Elon Musk's mom, and author. She's got a book out and everything. But Elon Musk was there in the big suite, and I was not in the Sky Suite. I was not invited to the Sky Suite. I'm much too modest and humble. But yeah, J.D. Vance and Elon Musk right there. And then you had Governor Ron DeSantis. You had the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. You had Tulsi Gabbard, who is in line to be the Director of National Intelligence, and the Democrats are trying to smear her as a Russian agent, because that's what they say about everybody, I assume, because they are actual Russian agents and doing the work of Putin's Russia. Congressman Mike Waltz was there, who's going to lead the National Security Agency. Good stuff, good stuff. Pete Hegseth was there, who is the Department of Defense, the Secretary of Defense nominee, and he was in the booth, the skybox, with President Trump. Remarkable stuff. Also, a senator who won one of these elections that the Democrats tried to weasel their way out into stealing. Dave McCormick, senator-elect, was in the booth with him. And Congressman Wesley Hunt was there. And Congressman Wesley Hunt, let me tell you something, from Texas. This guy's pretty great. He's in the booth there. He's at the Army-Navy game. He's a West Point grad. He's a West Point grad himself, which is pretty great. So a former Army officer, obviously. And his brother is a West Point grad. But wait, there's more. His sister is a West Point grad. And that's not bad. And they come as father was military as well. But 3 siblings, West Point grads. And Congressman Wesley Hunt, pretty great. Pretty great stuff. So the booth, and Tulsi Gabbard, did I mention Tulsi Gabbard? I don't think I did. Tulsi Gabbard was there. Maybe I did. Nominated to be the DNI. And when President Trump was announced, the crowd started chanting USA, USA, because they're on our side. And the whole crowd was on our side. There were some Democrats there, to be sure. But they weren't welcome. That's the difference, I think. Because they're a bloodthirsty lot, these people. You see that the Democrats have started multiple kind of GoFundMe pages to raise money for their boy Luigi. Their boy Luigi. They love Luigi. They want more Luigi. And that is pretty sick, murderous, bloodthirsty stuff, I've got to say. The Democrats, from Michael Moore to run-of-the-mill Democrats out there, one page, and it's not technically the GoFundMe page, it's another online fundraising thing. They've raised more than $100,000 for Luigi just over the weekend, and that's only one of several fundraising pages online, because the Democrats love murder. And you see, Luigi's family has gotten a high-paid, highfalutin lawyer, and you'll never guess who that lawyer is married to. I've got that coming up, too. There is another leftist who runs, he's got a company, and he sells gear and things, and it's called Comrade Worker, because he's a filthy, stinking, murderous, bloodthirsty commie. And his name is James Harr. And he's got a website called Comrade Worker. And Comrade Worker is now selling a deck of death cards. They're CEO death cards. And you normally have 52 cards. And he's got 52 cards with pictures of CEOs, their names, their job titles, and their death cards, because they want murder. They want civil war, I assume. He's an anti-capitalist pig, the CEO is, James Harr. And the It's the CEO Must Die is the name of the deck of cards. The CEO Must Die. And you pick a card, and then you do what the left does, and you go around murdering everybody because nobody murders like the left. They murdered 100 million people since the Bolshevik Revolution, all in the name of bringing about utopia. It's going to be really nice when they get done. There will be no people, no life on Earth, but never mind that. Remarkable things going on. Yes, sir. And then we have all of the UFOs. Can we call them UFOs? Do we have to call them UAPs or something like that? The drones. The drone thing is amazing. We opened with the rectal aperture known as Adam Kinzinger saying, "Oh, everybody's an idiot except Adam Kinzinger. Everything's an airplane. Everybody just thinks that airplanes." All these people who grow up in northern New Jersey and in New York, they don't know what airplanes look like. They don't know where their airports are. They don't see planes going in and out every hour of every day their entire lifetimes. So they're so stupid that they see an airplane and think that it's a spaceship or a drone or something, and so they attack people that say, "Hey, there was a thing hovering over my house for an hour last night." "Oh, it was an airplane, you moron. It's got a green light on the left wingtip and a red light on the, and it's the green lights on the right wingtip and the red lights on the left wingtip." But never mind that. And they're telling you that you're an idiot because that's what they do, because they're hostile to the world. Chuck Schumer, he's the lizard king from New York. He might actually be a space alien. I've seen online that he might, if we don't want to see it, but if he took his suit off, there might be scales there. Might be scales everywhere. He might be a reptilian from another galaxy far, far away. Schumer demands Homeland Security deploy special drone detection tech. Yeah, because everybody in New York's too stupid, and you need special new. Going to have to spend a lot of money because Chuck Schumer is on the job. Over mystery New Jersey sightings. "I'm pushing for answers." That's in the headline in quotation marks from Chuck Schumer. And Adam Kinzinger just played the audio, confidently tells CNN that he solved the New Jersey drone mystery. It's not just New Jersey, by the way. Quote, "They're literally all airplanes," end quote. Our government, we need a new government. We really need to get rid of our government and start over again. January 20th can't come soon enough. But the left is here, and they're at war with sanity. They're at war with good mental health. It's the war on good mental health. Just amazing stuff. By the way, all these idiots who just don't know, as Adam Kinzinger says, that these are just airplanes. Newsweek magazine headline, "Mystery drones forced New York airport to shut down." Yeah, these idiots that run the airport just don't know an airplane when they see one, I guess, Kinzinger? And the morons pretending to be journalists at CNN, they're not smart enough or well-informed enough, they don't follow the news, to say, but former Congressman Adam Kinzinger, former Republican, former adult human being, an airport in New York was shut down because of the drones. You think they don't recognize airplanes at the airport in New York? Because every day's an IQ test, and Adam Kinzinger does not fare very well. Just great stuff. And as I said, more than $100,000 raised for CEO murder suspect Luigi Mangione. And that's just one of the fundraising sites, because the Democrats love murder. Why? If you're a Democrat, call in and tell me why you love murder so much. And why you're a Democrat. What is the matter with you people? We're at 888-630-9625. Luigi Mangione. Also, the Democrats are selling votive candles, religious candles, with Luigi's face on them, like the Anthony Fauci religious candle. They're like a foot high in glass, and they're religious iconography. Christmas is coming, and the left, they're going to be buying each other religiously themed votive candles, oversized, and they've got the murderer's face on them because they love death more than we love life. Funny weekend for George Stephanopoulos, too. Lost a lawsuit to Donald Trump and ABC and Snuffleupagus being forced to pay $15 million because they lie about everything all the time. It's what they do. Oh, yeah, Daniel Penny was in the booth. I'm sorry, I forgot that, too. Daniel Penny, who was not lynched. The Democrats tried to lynch him, sent him to prison where more Democrats would stab him, like they did with the police officer in Minneapolis, Derek Chauvin, but never mind that. I've got an Alvin Bragg update. Hey, turns out they were lying to us about the number of terrorists killed in Gaza. That's hard to believe. I've got that coming up. And again, we're at 888-630-9625. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. They lie to us. We know they're lying to us. They know we know they're lying to us, but they keep lying to us. That's our government today. That's the way then a young woman named Elena Gorakova described the government of the Soviet Union when she wrote her book, A Mountain of Crumbs. And now the left is here. The left jails their political enemies, kills people that they target for death, and they lie about everything. They're the left. They're just airplanes. What do they know at this airport in New York about airplanes? They don't know anything. Let's grab a phone call, Michael. Let's go to Doug calling from Arlington, Virginia. Douglas, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hi, Chris Plant.
Hey there. How are you?
Long-time listener. I think we met one time at a Politics and a Pint in 2018.
Excellent.
But I won't get into that. So anyway, my call is about the last thing I want to talk about is the drones. But they're the topic.
Uh-huh.
So the Wall Street Journal has an article from 12th of October, 2024. And it's titled, Mystery Drones Swarmed a U.S. Military Base for 17 Days. The Pentagon is stumped. Now, I would add still to that, right?
Allegedly. And I would add allegedly also.
Right. And this is, again, 12 October 2024. This stuff here we talked about, it's been about a month, I guess. This has been going on.
Yeah.
So the question is, well, what were they talking about then? And what is this? Is it just some drones? What is this? This is actually an interesting article because it does reflect a lot of the same details that we've heard over and over and over again, which, again, I implore people, let's look at the history. And this article, I believe, lays it out. They talk about drones that were 20 feet long and flying 100 miles an hour, very high.
Well, now they're lying to us about them because that's the habit that they've gotten into, like the Bolsheviks that they are. Now, the whole drones story it's a kind of a story about our government and our lack of trust, faith, and confidence in our government on pretty much every level of government. It's about the fact that they've lied to us so many times that they're like a serial cheating spouse, and over time you just don't believe them anymore. They can't be trusted. They can't be believed. They've been caught lying so many times that you can forget about ever believing them again because, the Democrats. And that's one of the big things about this whole drone story. But I got to say that I think maybe the craziest story is the love affair that these people have with their boy Luigi Mangione. Luigi Mangione, who is awaiting extradition and fighting extradition back to New York, where he will face charges. It looks like second-degree murder rather than first-degree murder, even though those of us who got our legal education from TV shows think it looks like first-degree murder. He premeditated, plotted, planned, laid in wait, and then assassinated someone for political reasons. Should probably get the death penalty, but he is awaiting extradition back to New York. And this is kind of a big thing. Now, because it looks like it started something. It's not like this was a one-off. This is part of a Democrat Party project. Their war on health care providers because they demand total state control of health care, which gives the state total control over the entire population when they can deny you health care, when they can bankrupt you, when they can turn you away from hospitals, life-saving care, and all that good stuff. But this is pretty appalling stuff on a number of levels, what they're doing. Let me start with this. More than $100,000 raised for CEO murder suspect Luigi Mangione. And they're reporting it in England. They're not reporting it in the Washington Post because the Washington Post is not a legitimate newspaper. As you know, their slogan is, it looks like a newspaper, but it's not. Looks like a newspaper. And I have my copy right here in my hand. Here's today's newspaper. And they've got, their headlines are, Nation's jockey for hold on Syria, because what's more important to the American people than that? And on the left side, that's the upper right corner of the front page on the asectional. Many of them are asectional, as you know. Many of them are metrosectional. And the other headline, upper left corner, CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. CDC pick promoted false theory on vaccines. So did the Washington Post, by the way. Washington Post created and peddled all kinds of false theories, multiple false theories. So did Joe Biden. So did the entire Democrat Party, and the Washington Post and Joe Biden are part of the same Democrat Party. Embrace of disproven link between autism, shots, alarms experts. They have experts that are alarmed. It's the Union of Alarmed Scientists, I think. Remarkable stuff. So they're attacking everybody because they're the left. They say Dave Weldon, a Florida physician and now former 7-term Republican member of the House of Representatives, member of Congress, had for years expressed concerns about the safety of vaccines. How dare he express concerns about the safety of vaccines? Now, why has the autism rate in America multiplied by 1,000%? Pay no attention to that. No, all vaccines are always perfectly sound and safe and not to be concerned about, according to the Washington Post, which means they're currently peddling false theories about vaccines. But never mind that. And below that, in the center of the front page, they have, still above the fold, slain CEO had worried about company's image. Well, I guess his worries are over now. He'd worried about the company's image. I guess he was right about that. And they've got 3 Democrats typing at the Washington Post. In early 2024, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, who was murdered by their hero Luigi, had an urgent warning for his colleagues, they do love their colons. The company has a public relations problem. Yeah, and the problem is the commies. It's the America-hating commies, because they demand socialized medicine and nothing short of socialized medicine. All right? Now, the Democrats, they're raising money, more than $100,000 raised, for a CEO murder suspect. Luigi Mangione is metro.co.uk. It's a paper out of England, out of London. And they write, more than $100,000 has now been raised for Luigi Mangione after he was charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Alleged victims of America's poor quality of health care had launched a fundraiser for the shooting suspect after he was arrested on Monday, and is still halfway to its $200,000 goal for what it describes as Mangione's Legal Defense Fund. Ever since Brian Thompson was shot dead in Midtown Manhattan, New York, the disclosure around it has been about how hot Mangione is. The Democrats want to have sex with him. They want to go to prison and live there and have sex with him because they're very mentally ill and violently, criminally insane in a great many cases. And as the dubious industries, it's the dubious industry, healthcare and health insurance, the dubious industry. And the Ivy League graduate was arrested in a McDonald's 4 days ago. And since then, more than 1,000 donations have poured into his legal defense. But that's just one. That's only one of the legal defense funds, or just raise money for Luigi things. Because ABC fake news, who were sued by President Trump and they lost over the weekend. Since when do courts come out with their decisions over the weekend? But that happened over the weekend. The ABC fake news defense fund, established by supporters of suspected CEO killer Luigi Mangione, tops $100,000. Mangione's attorney said he might not accept the money that has been raised. Yeah, sure. I bet we can check that, because that's not going to be the case. So New York City prosecutors worked to bring murder charges against Luigi Mangione in the brazen killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Supporters of the suspect, he has supporters, they're all Democrats, are donating tens of thousands of dollars for a defense fund established for him, leaving law enforcement officials worried Mangione is being turned into a martyr. Well, they're like the Islamists, the death cult of radical Islam and the Democrat Party today. Remember, they've stolen Al-Qaeda's slogan, which is, "We love death more than you love life." Pretty amazing stuff. So I don't even want to name the outfit, but I will anyway. It's called Give, Send, Go, because it's not GoFundMe. And they have already raised more than $100,000. This was actually, all these stories were written yesterday. I think our fake journalists are too lazy to check for an update today. But it's not the only group that is raising money for Luigi Mangione. They have other fundraising efforts ongoing simultaneously. Isn't that amazing? Because they love death more than we love life. You know, you're pro-life, they're pro-death. You think that baby's life, an unborn baby's life, a mother with child, that life is precious, and they think that there are organs to be harvested there because they're really not very well. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. And the fundraising continues. Forbes magazine has the story. ABC Fake News has the story. And then there was this absolutely insane story in CNN over the weekend too. The headline is, and it's got three pictures of three people: Ryan Borgwart, Hannah Kobayashi, and Luigi Mangione. All disappeared for a time this year. They all disappeared for a time this year. And CNN's story is this. Experts, they always have experts, don't they? Experts explain phenomenon of adults who leave their lives behind. Luigi Mangione left someone else's life behind. He disappeared on his family. The whole story by these idiots. Just amazing stuff. A family man from Wisconsin, a spirited artist from Hawaii, an Ivy League graduate from Maryland. That last one's Luigi. At face value, Ryan Borgwart, Hannah Kobayashi, and Luigi Mangione lead distinct lives. They're distinct lives and come from disparate backgrounds. Yet they all took unexpected paths. Did these people assassinate other people? Disappearing from their jobs, routines, families, and friends. Now, that's not exactly what the Luigi Mangione story is about. But that's CNN is spinning it. Oh, see, Luigi's a lot like other people who drop out of society. That's not the Luigi Mangione story. It's really not. Isn't that amazing? But let me go to, the Democrats I mentioned on Friday. They've got wanted posters up all over New York, with CEOs' faces and names on them. Now you've got a communist who is selling his online store. He's a communist with a prosperous online business. And he's selling a deck of cards with the kill the CEOs. It's like, and it's really stolen from Apocalypse Now, Colonel Kilgore and the death cards and all that stuff. But this guy, James Herr, runs an anti-capitalist website, and he's selling a deck of cards, The CEO Must Die, with presumably 52 faces and names of CEOs calling for the CEOs to die. But the FBI is not raiding this guy's house. James Herr is fine nothing he's got to worry about from the FBI. Yeah, the deck of death cards from the Comrade Worker organization, and the founder of the Comrade Worker, James Har, the CEO must die. Isn't that amazing? These people. They also have a hero that they call Michael Moore. Michael Moore is, I think he's an Oscar winner, isn't he? Didn't he win an Oscar for like Roger and Me or something like that? But Michael Moore, grotesque, morbidly obese, communist pig who loves the Cuban healthcare system, the healthcare system of Cuba, loved the Castro brothers, Fidel and Raul Castro, loved Cesar Chavez and Nicolas Maduro. He loves commies and always loved, hates the American healthcare system and loves the Cuban communist healthcare system, where there's a gun to your head, right? But Michael Moore posting online over the weekend, he's got a manifesto now, just like all these psychotic killers, right? And Michael Moore wrote of the murder, he wrote, "The anger is 1,000% justified. It is long overdue for the media to cover it. It is not new. It has been boiling, and I'm not going to tamp it down or ask people to shut up. I want to pour gasoline on that anger." He wants to pour gasoline, and the man's just been murdered. "I want to pour gasoline on that anger." A typical morbidly obese communist. "Yes, I condemn murder." They're always doing this, like check that box, and Schumer's doing that, and Elizabeth Warren's doing that. They're all doing that. Oh, murder is wrong, except this one, and all others like it. "Yes, I condemn murder." No, he doesn't. "And that's why I condemn America's broken, vile, rapacious, bloodthirsty, unethical, immoral healthcare industry." Now, wait a minute. If the healthcare industry is broken, vile, rapacious, bloodthirsty, unethical, immoral, then what should we do about that? And he says, "And I condemn every one of the CEOs who are in charge of it." If I were a CEO at a healthcare business, I'd be carrying a gun in each hand. I wouldn't even have them tucked away under the pinstripe suit. I'd be walking around with a couple of Glocks, one in each hand, because the left is here, and the left has murdered 100 million people in the name of creating utopia. I don't think they're going to create utopia. So he condemns the CEOs who are in charge of it. These insurance corporations and their executives have more blood on their hands than 1,000 9/11 terrorists. There were 19 9/11 terrorists, plus Zacarias Moussaoui, the 20th hijacker, but never mind that. So wait a minute, if they've got 1,000 times 3,000, that's 3 million people. We invaded Afghanistan over September 11th, and so I'm guessing Michael Moore thinks there should be mass murders. There should be death camps, probably gas chambers, rail spurs, boxcars. He's stockpiling Zyklon B as an investment, I think. Isn't that amazing? So that's Michael Moore. He is a mainstream Democrat in good standing and good stead with the American media. And he wants to pour gasoline on that anger. And healthcare CEOs are 1,000 times worse than the 9/11 terrorists, which means war, doesn't it? I mean, isn't that a call for war? I think so, because our healthcare system is broken, vile, rapacious, bloodthirsty, unethical, and immoral. He condemns every one of the CEOs in charge of it. They have more blood on their hands than 1,000 9/11 terrorists. And this is perfectly mainstream, normal stuff for today's Democrat Party. I think soon they're going to break away and create a confederacy and bring slavery back. They love the bullwhip. They're the bullwhip people. And I have a bunch of audio for you on the topic, too. We're at 888-630-9625.
The only way that we're going to stop this is eventually we're all going to have to put our bodies on the line. You're going to have to be willing to do this.
I've got a bunch coming up for you on these crazy people that the country must learn. This is not liberalism. This is leftism. They're basically communists. And this guy running the website, Also, the votive candles that they're selling, the religious candles, they've turned Luigi into a religious figure just in time for Christmas, and they're selling 1 foot tall candles in glass with Luigi looking like a religious figure because the left loves murder. And if you love murder, then you're a lefty. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Mike calling from Sunshine, Maryland. Michael, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Chris, thanks for taking my call. I'm confused. Michael Moore should be very angry with the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS. They deny more claims than, last I saw, more claims than the top 3 private insurers combined. So I'm confused. Why isn't he just, spewing venom at the government-run medical programs?
Because it's the government, and he must approve of all state-run operations. Doesn't matter how many people they kill, how many people they murder, how drenched in the blood of innocence they are. They don't care. It's the state. They support the leftists, support the state, no matter what the state does. No, I mean, again, nobody's killed around the world over the last century. Nobody's killed more people than the state in Russia, the Soviet Union, China, communist China, and Cuba, in the list goes on, in Cambodia, and on and on. And also, you're undoubtedly aware also, Mike, that they don't follow the news. They're not well informed. They're angry, knee-jerk headline readers that may get past the first paragraph in a news story, which is typically designed by leftists to inflame emotions and not inspire rational thought and discussion. But our healthcare system is good enough for Canadian millionaires and billionaires who flee Canada, where it's all free, to come to the United States because they decided they want to live. A left-wing woman elected to office, big supporter of Canadian healthcare, got breast cancer, sneaked out of the country again and again to go to California to be treated because she wanted to live.